Hallo und willkommen zu Lektion 2. So in this lesson, we're going to be covering personal pronouns. You should already be familiar with the nominative pronouns, ich, du, es, sie, sie, wir und ihr. If you're not familiar with those, I have some bad news for you. That's a joke. Oh, wow. Okay. The accusative pronouns you have seen before. We've gone over them a couple times, so this is mostly going to be a review here. Half of them are like the same exact thing as their nominative counterparts, so there's not too much to stress about. And the dative. You've seen the dative before in some expressions. We've, I think, done a chart on them, but we didn't use them a whole lot. After this chapter is when we start seeing the dative pronouns used a lot more, especially if something is affecting the subject of a sentence. So you might say something like, oh, that suits me. Das gefällt mir. So that suits me. It's doing something to you, the speaker. Or you might, it might gefällt Ihnen, which is you formal. Anyway, let's dive in. All right, we're going to take a moment with the accusative. Go ahead and try to fill in what you might know. If you don't know anything, that's okay, but you can probably guess a couple of them. Once you've done that, we'll just go through and fill these in. So, the accusative form of ich is mich, like M plus I. The accusative form of du follows that same pattern and becomes dich. This is like in the phrase ich liebe dich, I love you. That is when an example of when you would use the accusative pronoun. And unfortunately, that's where that nice predictable pattern stops. So we're going to go down to es, and sie. Oh, just realized that did not work out well. Okay, well, I don't know what I did. It's crooked now, but we're going to call it good. So, es, and sie. The only one of these that actually changes when we put it in the accusative is and it becomes ihn. S stays s, and z stays z. Now, for z and z, these also stay the same. Wir does change. It becomes uns. I like to think of this as saying us in English. Ihr changes as well, and it's super fun to say. It is euch. Moving on to the dative. So our first two kind of follow the same pattern. The dative form of ich is mir. And then the dative form of du is dir. So you might use mir when you say, es tut mir leid. That is to me unfortunate, which really just means I'm sorry. Es, and sie, these all do change again. So becomes ihm. S also changes to ihm. And sie becomes ihr. You'll notice, much like the dative thus for masculine, neuter, and feminine, they have the same ending letter. So that's a good way to remember that. Z and Z, these do change, and they are spelled the same, but that capitalized I, or that capitalized first letter is still important. So you formal is capital I, ihnen, whereas sie meaning they is lowercase I, ihnen. Wir and ihr are very simple. They stay the same. So wir is uns in the dative, and ihr is euch in the dative. This chart is going to be super important to memorize. This will definitely be used on your test. now would also be a good time to kind of review previous lessons that we've had about the accusative and the dative case if you're still foggy on that. All right, let's go ahead and get some practice in. Üben or praxis, both kind of mean the same thing. So, there's always a couple of options to put here, but we're going to use some context clues and figure this out. So, if we're talking to a friend and we say, das T-Shirt gefällt, something nicht. So, you're trying on a T-shirt. Das T-Shirt gefällt mir nicht. All right, and now you're asking your friend, was sagst du, gefällt es something? So, pause here and try to think of the different words that you could put in this blank space. Once you've done that, there's a couple things that could fit in here. You could say gefällt es mir if you would like. I'm going to actually say gefällt es dir. Does it suit you? Yeah, so the T-shirt suits me not. And then what says you? And then asking if it suits you instead. Das T-Shirt gefällt mir nicht. Was sagst du? Gefällt es dir? All right, this one is, think of this as saying like something that maybe like a sales clerk at a department store might say if they're helping you like find clothes or different sizes. Das Kleid steht something sehr gut. Diese Orange passt wunderbar zu something. So we're going to look at this as being a very formal conversation. This person is having a very formal conversation. So that means that we need to be using Ihnen. Das Kleid steht Ihnen sehr gut. Diese Orange passt wunderbar zu Ihnen. So the dress, steht is a conjugation of stehen. It literally means stand. But in this case, it's like talking about like the fit. It's like it does mean stand, but it fits you very well. Sehr gut. Diese Orange, this orange. So it's an orange dress. Very nice. Passt wunderbar zu Ihnen. Passt is another word that kind of means like fits, suits. It flatters you. Wunderbar is, of course, wonderful. And then zu Ihnen, it looks great on you. All right, pause here and see if you can guess what we need. Here's a hint. Look at the names, Pia und Sonja. Once you've done that, let's see how close you got. So Pia and Sonja, they might make you think, oh, we want the feminine, we want ihr. But this is not the case. We're talking to Pia and Sonja. So we're talking to both of them, which is you plural. So we need ihr. Pia und Sonja, wie gefallen euch die Röcke? So this is saying Pia und Sonja. Wie gefallen euch die Röcke? How like y'all, you plural, die Röcke, the skirts. Alright, nächste ist, hast du Ralf mit der neuen Brille gesehen? Ralph is a name here. The English counterpart is, of course, Ralph. Alright, so we're talking about Ralph, who we can make an assumption that Ralph is typically a masculine name. So, hast du Ralf mit der neuen Brille gesehen? Have you Ralph with the new glasses seen? Have you seen Ralph with his new glasses? Die steht something, aber überhaupt nicht. So Ralph, we're assuming, is masculine name for a masculine person. So we're going to come over here and take ihm and say, die steht ihm aber überhaupt nicht. They fit or suit him, but überhaupt means like at all, nicht not. So this is saying they don't suit him well at all. All right, just one more slide here. Können Sie something bitte die Sommerhosen siegen? So this is asking, probably like a clerk again, to get something, to fetch something. And you know, I just realized that this is spelled wrong because Ziegen, lowercase, means goats, which is not correct. I'm going to fix this on the slideshow that you have to take notes on. But really, we want Ziegen. Okay, now let's translate this. So, können Sie, could you, formal, bitte, please, the Sommerhosen. These are like summer pants is the literal translation. We're going to say like shorts, although maybe they're like, they might be capris. I'm not sure. Sommerhosen is just a pair of pants that you'd wear in the summer. Lightweight, comfortable, cool, that kind of thing. We don't really have a specific translation in English. All right. And of course, we're asking someone to do something for us, so we're going to say mir. So, Ziegen here is meaning like, can you show me the summer pants? Show me, demonstrate. Just asking for someone to show you where the pants are. All right, and homework time, Aufgabe. All right, so zooming in here. The instructions are in German, but also in English, so let's just go over those. Machen Sie ein Bild von sich in Kleidung, die Sie gerne tragen. So this is asking you to make a picture of yourself in clothes that you like to wear. Alternativ, drucke eine Malvorlage von jemandem in einem Outfit aus, das Sie tragen würden, und male es aus. So this is saying like you could print out like a coloring page of someone in an outfit that you would wear and color that in if you're not feeling super artistic. Anything that ends up with a picture of an outfit that you like to wear is absolutely fine. All right, number 2. Schreiben Sie zu jedem Kleidungsstück einen Satz. So write a sentence about each piece of clothing. You are going to need to, well, that's in the next part. Never mind. And then there's a disclaimer. Keine Unterwäsche. No undergarments. Please do not draw underwear on your person. Don't. 9. All right. Note number 3. Sie müssen mindestens 5 Sätze schreiben. So you have to write at least 5 sentences. This means that if for some reason there's not 5 pieces of clothing on your character, on your picture, then please write 2 sentences about 1 piece. You just have to end up with 5 sentences. Das nächste, diese Sätze sollten sich voneinander unterscheiden. So these sentences do need to be different from one another. If you just write, I wear pants, I wear shirts, it's going to be really repetitive and you're not going to get full credit. I do have some examples on the next page that we'll take a look at. And finally, the last note, 5. Ihr Bild wird im Flur hängen. So we are going to be hanging these pictures in the hallway after you complete them. Ideally, that'll happen on Friday. We're just going to take a piece of the board out there and just tack them up. So nothing too fancy, but we'll leave them up for a week or so that people can see what you're learning in German class. All right, our next picture. Let's see if I can. Oh. So here is our example. You'll note that I did not draw an actual person. It turns out I am not a great artist, and for an example, I just want you to get the gist of it. So here are some example sentences. They do all need to be in German. I apparently messed up with this one. So make sure that you write all of these auf Deutsch. Ich trage immer eine Brille. I wear always glasses. Ich trage gerne lila Hemden. Sie stehen mir. I gladly wear purple, so this could be describing like a purple shirt. Lila Hemden. Lila Hemd, Entschuldigung. Sie stehen mir. It suits me. Ich mag Jeans lieber als Röcke. I like jeans better than dresses. Better than skirts. Ich trage oft Schuhe. Let me get that one in the frame. Or maybe not. Maybe I won't get that one in the frame. There we go. Now I can move this. Ich trage oft Schuhe. I often wear shoes. You could get more specific if you want. Feel free to look up clothes as well if you aren't sure how to say something. And then we have the rubric. Die Rubrik. So it's really quite simple. You have to write at least 5 sentences for 10 points. You do need to have proper grammar and spelling auf Deutsch for another 10 points. And then it does need to have some degree of effort put into it. Colorful, add some details. It does not have to be any great artistic feat. If it looks like my example, but maybe colored in, that is absolutely fine. And this is all for a total of 30 points. So just one more note about the quality of art. Again, don't worry too much about how it looks. So maybe you're going to literally take a dude like this and just color in the clothes. So we'll give him some yellow shoes, I guess. It could literally be something like this, except hopefully you do a better job coloring than I do with my pencil here. But if it looks something like this, totally fine. Did I ever say I can't draw? Anyway, that's the gist of this assignment. If you have any questions, email me. Fragen, email me. Ja, das ist alles. Auf Wiedersehen.